Good morning traders and welcome to today's live trading. Today is the 17th of May. We are on a Thursday and we are on the FTSE 100 as usual. Just a quick apology for not putting out a video last week. I've had BT Openreach engineers round last week and this week actually, trying to just squeeze a little bit extra out of my internet connection. It turns out that I'm about 4 kilometers from the nearest exchange, which means that the wire running to my house is really long, which means that the internet connection is not fantastic, and we're not due for a fibre upgrade until the end of this year, the start of next. So a little bit of a wait on that, but I think he's improved it a little bit. Hopefully the dropping issue has disappeared now, and my trading account won't flick in and flick out when you're watching these videos, which is why the ticket disappears sometimes. But we'll see. He was here yesterday. Today's the real test. But just to quickly run you through my analysis for today. As usual, I've just got some bands marked in where I think these high probability areas of reactions will occur. We've got one just above price at the moment around the 7740 level. We've got a purely intraday level down at the 720 level. There's 3 levels there, and it actually lines up reasonably nicely with other things on the higher time frames, which that could be a good level. One a little bit lower down at the 700 level, and a few more outside of these that I haven't fully marked in yet. But no immediate trade setups on my radar. All I'm doing is waiting for price to come in, reach one of the bands, and react in a certain way, and I'll act on it then. So it literally is just a waiting game this morning. If I load up the news announcements today, we don't really have anything. There's unemployment claims in the US at 1:30, but nothing major. So hopefully we could just watch price without any interruptions today, and hopefully get some trades off. So I'll speak to you later on. Okay, so we've just finished the first hour of trading. This is the 9 o'clock, well, the end of this candle is 9 o'clock here. You can see we're moving down now, but I'm going to put a buy order just above this green pin bar here that's sort of reacted at the 200. I know we're back down at the low of this candle now, and if it does close below here, then I'll just cancel the order. But if it wants to start moving back up, I'd quite like to be triggered into the long side of this. So the high of this candle is 48.3, so I'm going to be in at 49.5. Just put that in now, 49.5, and submit that order. So yeah, like I said, if price starts moving back up now, I'm going to be triggered in. The only real sticking point for this is obviously we have reacted before this band, which would be the target, and there is yesterday's high just literally a few ticks above where the order is going to be. But what I like is that it's managed to move up and close above sort of these sort of highs here. I know we're back down into them, but if we get a trigger, the order triggered above here, then hopefully we can have another move up. It is looking like it's just going to want to come down, which is annoying, but we'll give it this 5-minute candle to see what it wants to do, and then reassess. So as expected, after we saw that move down, that order was short-lived, so I'm just going to cancel that now. Yeah, boom. Order cancelled. Kind of a good job we didn't get triggered into that one, but that's the benefit of waiting for price to move even just a little bit in the direction of your trade before getting triggered into it, because if we'd have just entered after this candle, we would have been in a significant amount of, well, 10 points. Not significant. It looks worse because the range is so small on the FTSE at the moment, but as far as risk reward goes, I don't even know if we would have been targeting 10 points. Maybe just. So yeah, it wouldn't have been an ideal start to the trade, but now we're down back at these levels. I'm a little bit less inclined to take a trade from the bottom of this band. I wanted to just see some clear direction. We had this nice bullish move up. I wanted to see it hold above the previous swing there, and it hasn't. It's failed. It's starting to look a little bit like yesterday, where we're just chopping from one way to the other. I hope we're not going to get another one of those, but we'll keep watching for now, and if I do get any more setups, I'll update you a little bit later on. Okay, so we've just come up to 10 o'clock and we've had this pin bar at the bottom of the band. I'm going to enter a long position above it, so 43.2. Submit. So the order's in there. Just double check that. Yes, yeah, so 43.2. So if price starts moving up now, we're going to get triggered into a trade. I know I said I wasn't particularly keen from the bottom of the band, but what's happened is we've come down, we've tested the bottom of the band, we've had a bounce, we've tested this 200 moving average, and the top of the band we've come down, we've failed yet again. You can see like there's a little bit of an overnight low here, and it now looks like we're pushing up. So obviously the potential sticking point for the trade is sort of high of there, low of around there, this sort of little region here. If it can move up and push through this, then hopefully we can at least retest these highs, if not get to the next band, which would be nice. We've been triggered into the trade, so I can bring the ticket across. Cancel. I do not want to close that. I want to bring up the ticket. Why is it not letting me do that? There we go. So yeah, there's the ticket. Let me just adjust this chart. I will put the stop 2 points below this low, so that's 37, so it's going to be 35.3, modify the stop 35.3, check that, yep, and as far as take profit's concerned, I think initial target is probably going to be up at the highs, but depending how it moves, if it's looking pretty bullish, we might try and run it for the band above there. Obviously that'll be pretty good risk to reward. 35 is like 7 points down. Add your spread on, you're looking at about 8, just over 8 points, and target wise we're looking well above 12, so it's a good risk to reward on this trade. Obviously we're moving into the sticking point straight away. It's a good sign. It's obviously some bullish momentum in there, which is good to see. It's just whether we can push through this little region, but we shall start watching, and let's see what it does. Okay, so we have been stopped on that trade. Let me bring, oh well, the ticket's disappeared, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, so the ticket disappeared on that one. We have been stopped. It was always a little bit risky, that one, just because, like I said, as it first came down, there wasn't really the extra confluences that I try to get on my setups, and then it sort of gave us one with this sort of double failure within to this level. But this area here was always going to be a potential sticking point for the trade, and as you can see, we barely got up to the 200 and we reacted from there, and we've obviously come further down now. So as it stands, it made this high sort of from the open, and since then we've been sort of making lower lows and slightly lower highs. So as it stands, it is looking like it's going to want to come down a little bit, but we'll have to see, I guess. I would be happy taking a short if it wanted to say come down, test the pivot, pop back up into this level just within the band and give me a sell signal, then I would be happy to take that, I think. What I'm afraid of really is just general chop. I don't want to see price just chopping sideways. I think this is more sort of there. There's obviously not much confluence on that at the moment, as we've only had really 2 touches, but yeah, I don't want to see it just chopping sideways. That would be really pants, to be honest. A little bit like we got yesterday. So all we can do is wait. We'll see what's happening a little bit later on. So just a quick update. It is coming up to 20 to 12, and as you may have noticed, price has quite annoyingly moved right up to the take profit level we were discussing when we were in this trade down here. This came as low as 34.8, and our stop was 35.3. So we were stopped out by half a point. It happens. There's nothing you can do. The thinking is that if price comes as low as this, then it's not worth being in the trade, and more times than not that works that way. It just hasn't done on this occasion. So all you can do is just sort of shrug it off, really. There was no other candle here, other setup that would let us back into this trade after it rejected from this level here. So yeah, a little bit annoying, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's just got to go down as a loser. At the end of the day, if price had come straight down and stopped you out, the effect on your account is exactly the same. Don't let the picture that's in front of you on the candles wind you up. It'll only affect your future trades, and you'll probably end up making some silly decisions that when you come to the end of the day and you look back on the things that you've done within that trading day, you see the trade that caused the frustration, and then you see a bunch of silly mistakes that you make after it. We've all done it. I've done it plenty of times, but if you can, just do something to prevent yourself from doing that. If you're at a stage where you can shrug it off, then fine, continue trading, but maybe it's a good idea after a trade like that to maybe just call it a day for that day. You can feel yourself getting a little bit wound up by what's happened. Shut everything down, come back tomorrow, or take a couple of hours off, or something, go for a run, whatever calms you down, read a book for a bit, just to get back to a neutral state where you can be objective and assess things without sort of revenge trading creeping in the background. But back to today, and we are up at this band now. So looking at the higher time frames, we have reacted here a couple of times over the last couple of days, so this would not be a bad level to take a short from, but we just have to wait for the right price action for now. Let me show you the hourly. You can see that we have had this bounce and then we've moved back up. We've reacted, I think it was yesterday, and then the day before, 15th, 16th, yeah. So who knows, maybe we'll get a reaction from here, but it's just waiting for the right 5-minute price action to occur now so that we can possibly get into this trade. We need to be wary of sort of these swing highs, and obviously like the closes here, you can see that we reacted there on the way up. So there's two potential levels, so I'd rather see at least one of them tested, and which we kind of have seen here, to be fair, but maybe sort of a little dip down and then a similar pattern to what we got here with the double top-ish type pattern, and maybe a move back down to this band down here. But I'll keep watching for now. We're approaching lunch, so maybe the volatility dies off a little bit for a short period, and maybe we look to trade again this afternoon. Okay, so we're just coming up to 2:30. You can see price is still on its way up, and I just can't find another trade as it stands. There's no point pushing trades. If you start pushing trades, you're going to take rubbish, crappy trades that you don't really want to be taking. I have found trying to record these videos, that is something that's like an extra hurdle that you come across in trading, because I'm trying to put out some decent content onto the internet, obviously, and sometimes when not a lot happens, you get this sort of, come on, you got to find a trade somewhere sort of mentality, and it's you got to fight that as well. And I think that's kind of what I've been dealing with today, really. Once we moved up into this band, I was happy to take a short from here, but nothing really quite fit, and that's mainly down to the structure on this 5-minute time frame. So you can see the initial move up that we had this morning, and we had all these pins and we had these closes. It did move back down. I wasn't happy to take a long here yet. We tested again, we failed, pin bar, okay, happy to take the trade. We've been through this. We were a little bit unlucky to get stopped out here, but it did eventually move up towards the profit target. and then as it's got up here, it tested at these closes and broke through and retested and bounced higher. And then you can see now we've been testing at the top of these wicks and we've never really come down to test this level again from here. And the signals that we got, if I bring an arrow over just so that I can demonstrate which ones we got. So we moved up, and then I think the first signal we get really is this one, that you have to make a decision on this red pin bar here. And there isn't enough confluence for that trade. As it stands, we've made a high, we broke the high, we broke the high, we've made a low, we broke the low, we broke the low. You know, higher highs, higher lows. There's not enough at this point to take a trade. Then we get this candle here. This one's a little bit more enticing just because it's a bit bigger. There's more rejection on it, but really there's nothing more. There's no more confluences for this trade than there is this trade. You know, the general trend is still up. We've yet to break and make a lower low. And then finally we do, but in the weakest possible way. There's actually no close below this low, and we get this pin bar. Now I think with this pin bar, in theory you could have taken it, because if it had triggered, you would expect at least to move down to this level here, and if you were targeting below, then great. But the risk to reward on it probably wasn't fantastic. You're looking at around 6 points, 6, 7 points, up towards 8 points actually with each spread risk, and really to squeeze 8 points out of it, there's a lot of things in the way, so it wouldn't have been a fantastic trade to take. But at each point I was literally like, shall I give this one a go anyway? That thought always pops into your head. Shall I? It's been a few hours since I've done something. These are the hurdles that you've got to overcome, because if you start taking these not quite trades, then that's what eats away at your account. But don't feel bad if you are taking these trades, because we all do it. I went through a long period of taking these trades, and what happens is, your account just stagnates. It just goes sideways for the entire time that you're doing that. And as long as you have processes to aid your development, recording these trades and analysing these trades back. For example, let's say we took the trade we took, and then this larger pin bar here. If those were the two trades that I took today, if I went back and analysed these, and looking back at this first trade, I'd be more than happy to take that again. We'd had the test of all of the main level that was in the way, preventing it from being good enough risk to reward, and we just got unlucky. That's all I'm putting that down to. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's why your trades have a success rate. This just fell outside of that one today. This one, however, if I'd have taken it, I wouldn't have been that pleased with. I would have looked back at it and thought, I probably shouldn't have taken that trade. And the worst thing is that when these trades work out, you probably don't do that process critically enough. You don't critically assess the actual trade that you took, because it's sort of rose tinted because it actually made you money. It won. When really, if that trade had have won, you should look back at it with exactly the same critical eyes and say, well, really, that trade wasn't that good, and I probably shouldn't have taken it, regardless of whether it made me money or not. But yeah, basically the takeaway point is we all take, or all traders have taken not quite trades at some point. As long as you have mechanisms for trying to weed these out and learn from them so that you're not making them again in the future, then great. And recording with a journal these trades is fantastic. If you haven't got one, check out the channel. I'm giving away a free Excel spreadsheet. Have been doing for a while, and loads of traders are using that now, and it's a really good, in-depth, easy to use journal. And if you want, you can take screenshots of each trade that you take and you can add them in, or just keep links to them within the sheet. And you can reflect back on a weekly or a monthly basis and just go through your trades and think, okay, was this one a good one? Because you can come back to it like a week later or a month later with completely fresh eyes. You won't be, all that analysis won't be fresh in your mind, or the experience of that day won't be fresh in your mind, and you can come and look at it with completely fresh eyes and say, was this or was this not a good trade? And as long as you're learning from that process, you will weed these out. You will weed the not quite trades out, I promise. But yeah, I hope. Basically, I'm going to have to finish trading now. We're coming up to 3 o'clock. I've got to go out. I probably will be back for 4:30, but I'm not going to rush back for half an hour, 20 minutes of the market close. It's pushed up higher. If it is going to come back down, the next possible opportunity will be taking a long from here, and I'm not totally keen with the R3 only at 7775. So I'm just going to leave it for today, I think, and just call it a day. So we've had the one trade, and I think we lost about it was this one here, wasn't it? I think we ended up losing about 8 points on it in the end. So an 8-point down day. But hopefully it's the experience of today is a learning one for yourselves. That's what I tried to make each and every one of these videos, so that you can, regardless of my strategy, take at least something away from these videos. So if you have, please do leave a like on it, and if you haven't done already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I try to do these every week. Among some other bits and pieces, I am working on another video which will hopefully be out within the next sort of week or so. But yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.